Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. Brooks here. Today we're taking a look at a few clips from The View, a morning talk show on ABC. That's the TV network that made the erroneous report about former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn on the 1st of the month. This false report came out on a Friday morning, saying they proved Trump colluded with Russia. Then that evening they issued a clarification, which should have been called a retraction, since not only was the report biased and inaccurate, it also caused a lot of panic in the public, including sending the stock market into a swan dive. Basically, the report said Trump's advisor Flynn spoke with Russia, and that proved there was collusion in the election, which sounded pretty damning at the time, until the public realized this happened after Trump won the election, and after they got this contact approved with the sitting President Obama. He okayed them to do this. This is pretty common actually. President-elects beginning to set up talks and meetings with foreign nations is standard practice, as they begin to make plans to transition into office. Now ABC has been publicly shamed for this debacle all of last week, as they should be, and quite frankly, the ladies of The View should be walking around with their tails between their legs, especially after Joy Behar's response to that fake news, which went like this.
ABC News' Brian Ross is reporting Michael Flynn promised full cooperation to the Mueller team and is prepared to testify that as a candidate, Donald Trump directed him to make contact with the Russians.
Are you cringing yet like I am? Joy went all in on this report without even doing a little reading and fact checking. Hell, ABC itself, who not only approved this fake news, they also own and run The View, who bolstered it, and this probably added to the unnecessary mass hysteria. This reaction from Joy was all over the news and the internet that week. Following this December 1st announcement, I myself, of course, wasn't buying into all of this, but many people were. Quite frankly, I think most liberals just want to believe this bullshit is true. People like Joy and her brain-dead audience just really hate Trump. They hate him so much they're blinded by it, and they'll accept anything as fact if it'll help tear him down.
Beginning to look a lot like Christmas, and it's beginning to look a lot like collusion.
For the record, Anna Navarro here is also just the worst. Terrible person. She's been on this anti-Trump, anti-America kick since the election. I really can't believe this biased, bitchy, terrible liar is still put on TV.
Like, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. Reaction from the audience, by the way.
He goes to jail, he goes to jail, he goes to jail. Lock him up! Lock him up!
Wow, you can tell they really want Trump to go down for this. And not only that, they want to put him in jail. This is some next level petty jealousy horrible shit, if you think about it. I mean, I know presidents and politics can get a little touchy, but do we really need to go so far as to send people to jail if we disagree with them? I mean, I hate on people all the time in my videos, in my reviews, but I never go so far as to say, hey, this person I disagree with needs their life ruined. I want them in jail because they're on the opposite side of this argument. I mean, it would be very different if we were talking about some violent crimes here, or maybe a robbery. If we were talking about rape or murder, I could get behind sending them to jail, or even sexual assault. If some actual crimes were on the table, then I would say sure, let's lock them up. But Joy's just talking about talking, really. Flynn contacting Russian diplomats on behalf of Trump, legally I might add, but let's just say it was illegal contact for a moment. Let's say they colluded and shared national secrets or something else illegal, possibly. The View here is ready to send them to jail just on those accusations. Over talking, over a non-violent, probably accidental crime, if it was even true. They say to lock them up without any hesitation. These bitches are basically fascists at this point, and let's keep all this in mind when we watch another clip from The View, which I'll get to later. But first, let's talk about their apology following this whole premature celebration Joy had. Well, The View didn't really apologize for that shit show at all. They just read ABC's formal apology for the bad report, saying how the reporter was suspended. But somehow, The View gets off scot-free.
So on Friday's show, apparently I was guilty of premature evaluation. I hear they have a pill for that now. And is prepared to testify that as a candidate, Donald Trump directed him to make contact with the Russians. Here's what happened. ABC News reporter Brian Ross released...
Yeah, that celebration was just a wee bit premature, Joy. I think you're still on the front page of the premature celebration subreddit, right next to John McCain, who begged for 74 more followers on Twitter to get him to 3 million. But this begging actually caused him to lose 30,000 followers instead. Classic John McCain. And great company you're keeping there, Joy. You and McCain are made for each other. Couple of old, washed up loser has-beens. And if we're being honest, I hope The View loses 10 times as many followers as McCain did, because their bullshit is far worse.
Brian Ross has released a statement also on Sunday. He said, my job is to hold people accountable, and that's what I agree with, being held accountable myself. And that's why I agree with being held accountable myself. So he has basically, I mean, I would say that this is people are slamming this as fake news. To me, it's a mistake. It's not he didn't deliberately put out a false piece of information.
Yeah, but if you fall for that mistake hook, line, and sinker, you're going to be partially to blame too. And it makes you look like an idiot, Joy. People should be skeptical of reports and the TV, especially nowadays. And if you're the host of the show, have a little class. Don't just take everything for granted. Joy, you should be more skeptical than anyone. And I'm glad you said fake news too, Joy, because that's really what this is. I doubt it was even a mistake that caused this, but even so, ABC still pushed this report out too soon, clearly, and the people at The View championed it too soon, clearly. That's part of the problem here. If you all wouldn't have rushed this out because you were so eager to attack Trump, none of this shit would have happened. So no, you don't get to use mistakes as an out. It's not a get out of jail free card. Saying it was a mistake means there were other mistakes made too, like rushing this story out and rushing to report it on The View. Hell, this was all done by ABC, so The View doesn't get an out when the news division gives them a report that's wrong. I mean, it's not even from a separate source. You all made a mistake, including The View. I mean, think about it. Think about the scene at The View. They had a guy coming in delivering the news with a paper live on the show. They couldn't have waited until a commercial break to think about it? Or hell, report on it the next day to be sure it's the real deal. The View isn't a news show to begin with. I don't see why these hags thought they had to announce it so quickly and so confidently. Well, actually, now that I think about it, I do. It's because they're all liberal shills who jumped on an opportunity to rag on Trump. Speaking of jumping on opportunities to rag on someone, let's take a look at another such situation on The View.
Right before we went on air, the longest-serving member of the House of Representatives, John Conyers, announced that he is retiring today.
This was on The View December 5th, 4 days after they jumped up and down in celebration when Trump was accused of collusion. And now we got Conyers retiring because he's been accused of sexually assaulting multiple women. Now, let's see if The View, a group of feminist women who should be backing up girls and women and ladies everywhere, let's see if they jump and attack Conyers on this.
And some people are questioning, was he right to walk away? Would it have been better to stay and fight? Or
he is older. He is on the tail end of his career. Do a solid for everyone, and optically,
Did you say do a solid?
do a
I like
solid.
that.
Do a solid for everyone, and just like wrap it up. If you truly did not do one single thing, I always believe in fighting, but again, like if you read into some of these things, you have to kind of question.
Oh, I see. We're still giving Conyers the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he's guilty, maybe he's not, is the vibe I'm getting here. And I really have no problem with that in normal circumstances. I frankly think he's a creep like the rest of these liberals getting outed for degeneracy, but I also believe in innocent until proven guilty. My question here is this: why wasn't Trump ever afforded the same luxury? Joy was jumping up and down saying lock him up when they got just one report of possible collusion. I suppose maybe that report could have sounded more conclusive, like there was evidence, but I say even so, we need to be skeptical of that as well. One lone report isn't enough to react the way Joy did. Perhaps if multiple sources came in, or there was some video evidence, or a barrage of reports from all over the planet, then I'd say it may be conclusive and worthy of celebration, but not this. Now back to Conyers, who has had a series of reports about his sexual misconduct going around. And here, the View panel remains skeptical. This is how they should have acted before. To me, this really just proves that they're big-ass, phony fucking hypocrites. We all know Conyers is getting a pass because he's a Democrat, and probably because he's black. And on top of that, these girls at The View are the same women who last year said Trump should go to jail for saying grab her by the pussy.
It was just about power and aggressiveness.
Well, it's a crime. I mean, I prosecuted sex crimes. That's a sexual assault. Classic sexual assault. People go to jail for that. He wants Hillary Clinton to go to jail. Maybe he needs to go to jail for sexual assault.
And that was Trump just talking to his friend Billy Bush in private, talking about having consensual sex with girls who want it. But apparently men can't even talk about consensual sex anymore. These bitches say they should go to jail for that, which is not only anti-free speech, it's highly hypocritical considering the Conyers situation. Think about it. Coming back to the reaction about Conyers today especially. Conyers has been accused of actually molesting and groping women. He even allegedly used his power to get chicks to sleep with him. And he's fired ones who won't. But fortunately, Conyers is a black Democrat Democrat and he gets a pass from The View because they're simply the worst. Now, if you need any more proof that Joy Behar specifically is not only brain dead, she's also a massive hypocrite, just check out this pic. Poor Robin Williams getting sexually assaulted by that red-headed bridge troll next to him. Oh wait, that's Joy Behar, grabbing him by the dick, so to speak. God damn. After a year of hearing her berate and scold and try and demonize Trump for the grab her by the pussy comment, Joy physically and openly grabs men by the dicks in public. Well, she did it back in 2006. This is so hypocritical and so ridiculous and this looks so bad, Joy. I mean, you can't make this shit up. And remember, consent didn't matter when Trump was talking about it, so in my eyes, consent doesn't matter when Joy is physically caught doing it. This is a picture of sexual assault. And Joy, having your gross, flabby, ginger hands on Robin's crotch is probably what made Williams commit suicide. Too soon? Sorry, but it had to be said. And that's 2 strikes for you, Joy. 1 more and you're out of here. In the end, The View is a garbage show on a garbage network. They're all a bunch of washed up Hollywood has-beens, thrown on camera to supposedly be talking heads, representative of average American women. They're not. They try and keep it real by having Meghan McCain there, but she's basically neutered every time she tries to speak up for conservatives. The rest are just terrible actors, reporters, or comedians like Joy Behar, who is simply the worst, and all this hypocrisy, it needs to stop. What do you guys think? Is The View and its crew the biggest bunch of hypocrites you've ever seen? Should Joy have apologized more for her embarrassing premature celebration? And what about this Sunny Houston lady? I know she's a total bitch, but is she hot or not? I really can't tell yet. Comment your thoughts below, and thanks for watching No Bullshit. See y'all next time.